Welcome everyone to Real Estate with Gwen Price, and I'm here with Trina Tallon, a mortgage agent with Neighbourhood Dominion Lending, and this is our monthly market update, and it's the first month of the year. Happy New Year, Trina.
Happy New Year, Gwen.
Yeah, and it's cold, really cold today, so that might affect people wanting to go out and look at things. I wouldn't want to be out in this weather for very long right now, but we have a little bit of a reprieve, I think, by this afternoon, so we'll see.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've been very lucky so far this year with the weather.
We really have, knock on wood. We haven't had too many big storms or anything, and it's funny how that it kind of skips around us often, but I'll just go with it. What can we do, right? It's Northern Ontario. We got to deal with cold weather 6 months of the year, it feels like, but I'm already thinking about my garden.
Yeah, it's good to plan now for what's coming in the spring, that's for sure.
And I mean, gardening is one reason people want to buy houses, and COVID, I think, has sort of reinforced that part of why are people buying houses during COVID, right? And you think about it, and it's a place, a safe retreat from the craziness of the world, I guess. And gardening was a big hit last year or the year before. So
absolutely. Gardening, yeah. Home renovations.
Yeah, just making
painting.
your nest a little nicer. And if you're going to be stuck at home, you want something that's going to be comfortable, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's been happening in Sudbury, Gwen?
Well, the average sale price ended up at the end of the year up 20% from from 2020. So we're around the 400,000 mark in the city of Greater Sudbury. And listings were up about 11% and sales about 19%. But those listings, as soon as they come up, they're selling. So the majority of listings don't stay on the market very long. They're really only here for a few days and then they're sold. And I just looked this morning, there's 9 houses in New Sudbury for sale, from 249 to 649. And in the valley, there's 7, and that's from about, 250 to about 900. So that is brutal. That's all price ranges, and there's, just those 2 locations, there's 16 houses. It's very, very difficult for buyers right now, and continuing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess that is that down from this time last year? Do you know?
When I look,
I'm having a feeling that it is. That does not seem like many.
Yeah, I'm not sure if for January yet, but New Sudbury last year at the end of December, there was 16 listings, and in the previous year there was 14. In the valley there was 15, and the previous year there was 7. So, but December's kind of sometimes people don't want to do much in December because they're focusing on Christmas, although we haven't had a normal Christmas for a while. But and January is hard to tell, excuse me, how it'll go, because some people, again, are reluctant. They're still trying to recover from the holidays, but I don't know, it doesn't show easing up anytime soon, getting more listings. And part of that is, if you've got a house and you want to buy another house, you are part of that competition there. If you're in the valley and you want to sell your house is going to sell. But what are you going to buy? Because you're competing with everybody else. So that's,
yes,
that hasn't eased up at all. And I don't know, the people keep thinking the prices are going to plummet or going to do whatever, but they're going to level off at some point. But
well, everything I've read, and my email gets full with especially in December and January and February, full with what predictions are for the year. And they've been talking about this for over a year and a half, 2 years kind of thing, that Canada's in a major housing shortage, and Sudbury in particular is still one of the lowest markets. I believe the National Post had an article in it, I think it was Thursday or Friday last week, that listed the top 5 best value in the country. But getting press like that is not helping our local buyers at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, and from, you know, a lot of people, Siberians think our prices are high, but when you look at, you know, comparing it to some of the other centers, we're considered a good deal, but excuse me, there just isn't enough inventory. And the builders aren't rushing to build anything unless they've got something pre-sold. It's just too big of a risk to let something, you know, to build with the cost of labor, material, and all of those things. So there's not a lot of new construction on the market, but yeah, it's interesting. And just talking a bit about mortgages, we still have to drill it into everybody to get pre-approved.
Yes, mortgage underwriting has become a little bit tighter in the last year and a half, primarily because of COVID. Banks and lenders are tightening their belts a bit. They're being a little stricter on credit and job stability, and you know, a big one's income stability, where I'm getting asked quite often for pay stubs now within 30 days of closing.
Oh.
Even if they've got the previous pay stub,
Yeah.
the letter of employment, because they're concerned that people are still employed. So,
right, which can change. I mean, there are some industries that are struggling for sure. Anybody involved in retail or the restaurant business is struggling, which I hope for all the friends that I have in those areas that things do change, or they can hang in there long enough for things to change. But yeah, I totally understand. I mean, the banks look at risk, right? What's the risk to them if somebody defaults on their mortgage and they've lost their job? Or yeah, so
absolutely.
And rates are staying pretty stable right now.
Rates are great. Like, I was talking to a client the other day where variable's still winning out over fixed tenfold, even if over the next 2 years we have 4.25% increases. That variable rate is still going to be lower than what the fixed rate would be right now. So I'm still a huge fan of variable, also because of the fact that housing prices are continuing to go up and people have more and more value in their homes all the time. I can't tell you the number of clients that called me in 2021 that bought in 2020 or 2019 and saw enough gain in their purchase and what they purchased that they could actually add like $70,000-$80,000 to their mortgage to build garages.
Yeah. So you are getting like refinances, lots of that's going on, right?
Lots of refinances for numerous reasons. 1, to pay off debt. 2, to do renovations, or like I said, add a garage, put in a pool, a lot of like stay-at-home kind of things to improve their homes, right? Or they want to go and buy a trailer and the interest rate on the mortgage is a lot less than what is being charged on the trailer when you look at the cost of borrowing kind of thing. A lot of people are pulling money out. The buzzword is Smith maneuver, where you take equity out of your home, which becomes a tax write-off if you turn around and invest it. But that's for the professionals to talk to people about. I just get the money. I don't get into like the whole tax benefit of it and things like that, but lots of clients pulling equity out of their homes to invest in the markets or in cottages, other properties. So I know it's only January and our lakes are all frozen, but we can have a quick chat about cottages.
Well, because there is an interest. I thought for a while there seemed to be a hesitation about cottages. Number one, it was hard to finance, and but now I think COVID again brought home people wanting, what am I going to do during all these shutdowns? So not only be at home with a pool, but maybe have a cottage. Yeah. So did you, because I found everything that seemed to be coming up with cottages too was selling quickly.
Well, all my clients that look for cottages, I tell them all to hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So send me the listing before they write an offer, and they're looking at anywhere between 5 and 30% down. It's just totally dependent on the cottage property,
Yeah.
on the type. And one of the issues that I run into continuously are composting toilets.
Yeah, I knew there was an issue about septic systems, right? Whether you had one or not changes how they
Well,
financially.
quite a few. The Sagen will allow, boat access. Sagen,
Okay.
formerly Genworth, so that minimum 10% down, will allow boat access, will allow like holding tanks or just an outhouse even, but it has to have running water inside the cottage, and it cannot have a composting toilet. So they would rather an outhouse over a composting toilet.
That's an interesting thing.
It is, and I've had multiple conversations.
Why is that?
Excuse me. It's an environmental issue.
Oh.
In their opinions.
Okay.
So it's another mortgage insurer, Canada Guarantee, will look at them on a case-by-case basis. So if the risk is minimized on the property and it has a composting toilet, and when I say risk minimized, I mean that has a high resale value, because believe it or not, the banks and the mortgage default insurers always plan for worst case.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything's lovely right now and everything's selling for crazy amounts of money, and market value, things are going fast and all that kind of things, but they always prepare for the doom and gloom in the future. So they have to make sure that whatever property they're financing or they're default insuring, that they are not going to have an issue selling it at the end of the day.
And interesting, you talk about septic systems and they're worried about the environment. Well, lots of old septic systems, heaven knows, right? It's, I don't know, there's some pretty new technology out there with, I would think, with composting toilets as opposed to field beds and holding tanks and all that kind of thing. But
well, we have one at our cottage and it's awesome. But there's so many different things out there in the world of lending, so many different options, and that they haven't moved from that one yet. So it's a wait and see type of thing.
And that's why I always tell my clients to talk to a mortgage representative, because I can't keep up with it. It no longer is the banking system of many years ago, right? Where everything was just kind of, okay, it's this, it's that, but there's so many little intricate parts of it now. It's no longer just a slam dunk about getting a mortgage, or what is the mortgage like and what do they want, and the criteria. So that's why you need to deal with a specialist like you.
And it's also great on the realtor side of things, if there's a mortgage agent that you do work with, when you have a listing that you're not exactly sure, because you hate to have your buyers have their hearts broken because something falls apart, right? For whatever reason. And so it might be a good idea for realtors to show the listing to whoever they're working with for mortgages, and have them get back to you and say, this property is going to require 20% or 30% or 5% or 10% kind of thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Of course, that's what we keep drilling into people. Please, before you even go out looking for houses, talk to a mortgage representative, get pre-approved, make sure you've got all the documentation, because if you're missing one little thing, it can throw a wrench into all of your plans. So you have
a lot of folks are used to buying vehicles, right? Where quite often, like for myself, when I bought mine, there was no paperwork required. It was simply, here's my social insurance number, and this is how much I make, and that was it, end of story. And quite often people will just get asked for a pay stub, and that's it. Off they go. But what I say to people all the time is, yes, but they can't come and take your house.
Exactly.
If you don't pay for your car, they're coming to get it, and that's it.
Well, and I mean, when you're going for a mortgage, there's many more levels of details that they need, not just how much you make. Well, prove where's your down payment coming from, have you got steady employment? So they look at a much bigger picture than, yeah, when you go for the car loan. Yeah.
Exactly. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that the anti-money laundering legislation governs a lot when it comes to mortgages, not just down payment, but a lot of the banks now too don't want to do a refinance within 1 year of somebody owning a property for the appraised value because they're worried about money laundering.
Ah, yeah.
Like that's being a way of cleaning money, right? So
Right. Yeah.
they're smarter than a lot of people think they are. So
well,
but
and you know, we're all innocent. We don't even realize all of it, but it's going on for sure. And it is a factor. And that's why everything has to be documented. You just can't arrive with a big pile of cash and you know, okay, where did that come from? How long have you had your money, you know, the down payment in the bank account? So there's lots of little things that need to be considered. So, but
for sure.
again, that's why they need to deal with a mortgage specialist such as you and start there, because there's still opportunities. I know it's brutal and there's a lack of listings, but it's still a good time to buy because we don't really know where the prices are going to go. But like I say, they've gone up 20% in a year since I don't know if I mentioned that. They've gone up 34% since 2019 and 44% since 2017.
Right.
So, you know, if you were looking a couple of years ago, waiting for the prices to go down, well, they haven't. They've already made equity in your house. So
yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good time to list. And I think that we all need to wrap our heads around the fact that our normal that we used to have may not occur again. And it may be a little bit different. And that we have to amend the way that we look at things, the way that we think, and we just have to move forward in the most normal capacity that we can now. So
yeah, a new normal. And that's exactly the way I feel too. It's yeah, nobody's got a crystal ball, but I don't think we're out of this for a while, unfortunately. But anyway, well, thank you again, Trina. It was nice talking to you, and I wish you all the best this year. And I'm always excited by the beginning of a year. I know we're starting from zero in my occupation, but you know, I always am excited for the challenges and to see what happens. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Have a great January, Gwen.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Well, take care. Bye now, hon.
Bye.